Hi everyone, welcome back to PRAKASAM tutorials. In my previous video, we have discussed about random variable concept and operation on single random variable. Now here in this unit, in this chapter, we are going to discuss about multiple random variables. And what is multiple random variable and what is the importance of multiple random variable. In previous chapter, the concept of a random variable was introduced and the statistics of the random variable are computed. And what are the statistics of the random variable? Statistics of the random variables mean that is mean, variance, moment, etc. So in this chapter, all the above statistics will be extended for two random variables. If only one characteristics of a random experiment is considered, it leads to the concept of a single random variable. If the two characteristics of the random experiments are to be considered, this leads to the principle of two random variable. So that is the definition of single random variable and two random variable. Once again, the definition of the single random variable and two random variable. If only one characteristics of the random experiment is considered, then it is known as concept of a single random variable. If the two characteristics of the random experiment are to be considered, then it is known as concept of two random variable. For example, in an electrical circuit, current only can be single random variable. Both voltage and current can be two random variable. So that is introduction to multiple random variables. And the first topic of multiple random variable is vector random variable concept. So vector random variable are the random vector. And what is random vector or vector random variable? The specified values of the random variables are called a random vector. The specified values of the random variables are called a random vector or vector random variables. And we call capital X comma capital Y a two-dimensional random vector or a two-dimensional random variable. In many engineering applications, situations arise where it is necessary to make use of more than one random variable, say that is two random variables, or sometimes they are used several random variables. Consider a sample space S. Consider a sample space capital S. Capital S is the sample point. So now here in this diagram, and this is the sample point. In this sample space, consider two sample points. That two sample points are S1 and S2. And capital X and capital Y are the two random variables. And this is the x-axis and value of the random variable x. And this is y-axis, value of the random variable y. And this is the point. And this sample point is mapped into the. Consider a sample space capital S and let capital X and capital Y are two random variables on this sample space. Let the specific values of X and Y are denoted by the specific values of capital X and capital Y are denoted by small x and small y respectively. Small x and small y respectively. Then any order pair of number x comma y is considered to be a random point in xy plane, and this is the random point in the xy plane. So this random point may be taken as a specific values of a random vector or random variable. And this waveform, this figure is the graphical representation of the mapping involved in going from a sample space capital S to the xy plane. And this is the waveform figure of the mapping involved in going from sample space capital S to the xy plane. This is the xy plane and this is the sample space. In that sample space, the sample points are S1 and S2. In a more general case where capital N random variables, so that capital N random variables are x1, x2, x3 and so on xn are defined on a sample space capital S We call the random variable to be components of an n-dimensional random vector or n-dimensional random variable.